Hi coders, CS Time channel here, and this video is about what is this keyword in Java, the function of this keyword, and examples of this keyword. Java this keyword is a reference variable that refers to the current object. This can be used to refer current class instance variable. Also can be used to invoke current class method, can be used to invoke current class constructor, can be passed as an argument in the method call, can be passed as an argument in the constructor calls, and is used to return the current class instance from the method. Let's see the first this. The first this is to refer current class instance variable. The first this here is to refer current class instance variable. The purpose of this is to resolve the problem of ambiguity. For example, like this, I have a class named this student here. For example, I have two class variable here. And now I want to initialize the value of ID and name. To do this, we can use parameterized constructor. So here is the parameterized constructor. And now to display the value here, we need another method which is display, like this. Now we want to run this program. To be able to call this program, then we need to create the object. So I have to create the object here. So we have two value to pass here because the constructor here asking for two value. Now we need to call display method. To be able to call display method, we need to use the object name here. So we call the name and then the method name here. Now let's see the result. So the result is like this. The ID value is 0, the name value is null. While here actually we already initialize it with the value from 001 and Chloe here. However, it doesn't display here because there is a confusion between the ID belong to the class and the ID belong to the method. The same thing with the name. The name belong to the class and the name belong to the method. So to solve this, we need this keyword. Now let's run it. Now the ID become 1 already initialized and the name become Chloe already initialized. Now let's see the second is. The second is to invoke current class method. Here is the program. I have a class this2 has two method here, as you can see here, method 1 and method 2. To be able to call these methods, I need to create the object under the main method. Here it is. So every time I want to call one of them, I need to use the object name. So s2 in this case dot whatever method that I want to call. However, if I want to call one of the method inside another method under class this2, then you don't need to use the object. All you need to do is to call the name like this. For example, I want to call method 1 under method 2. I will just write like this. Or another way to do this is by using this keyword, this dot and then the method name. This will result the same thing. Let's run this program. Here is the logic. At first, the object will call method 2. So it goes to methods 2 and then display the message here. Hello, I am inside method 2. As soon as it's done, it goes to this here, revert to the class method over here, which is method 1. And then run the method 1. Again, display the message inside method 1. So here is the result. Now let's see the third this. The third this here is similar to the second this. However, here is to invoke current class constructors. So here, my class name is this student 3. And I have two variables here with two constructors method. In case you are confused about constructor, I have a video about constructor. So basically, constructor is a method that has the same name as its class, and the purpose is to initialize the variable when you create the object. So here, I have default constructor and then parameterized constructor. So in this case, I want to call parameterized constructor. So when I run the program, this object will create it and then the value is passed to the parameterized constructor. So 001 go to ID and Karen go to the name and then run this method. This with parentheses, it shows calling a method. But what method is called? When you only see this and then parenthesis, it reverts to the constructor method, which is here. So it will run the constructor methods first. Once it's done, continue to this and then display the message. So let's see the result. So here is the logic. The program will create the object and then pass the value to the parameterized constructor. Before it run the parameterized constructor, it will run the this method first, which is revert to this constructor, the default constructor, and then it's initialize ID and name, and then display this message, which is here. Once it's done, go back to the caller. Here is the caller, and then continue to the next instruction, which is displaying this message, which is this. Now let's see the fourth this. The fourth this is to pass an argument in the method. In the fourth this here is pass as an argument in the method call. It is mainly used in the event handling. For example, it's like this. I have a program with class named this4. This4 has two methods here. The first method, take a look at the parameters here. The parameters here, instead of using primitive data type, I use non-primitive data type, which is the class itself here, and then the variable. And then the second method here will call the method 1 by passing the argument of here. Remember, the purpose of this is to pass the argument to the method I call. This situation is used in the event handling or error handling. So when I run this program, it will look like this. So here is the logic. We create the object and then I call method 2. When I call method 2 here, then it will enter the method 2 and then call method 1 by passing the argument this. This here is an argument that passed to method 1. In this method 1, the parameter is different. It doesn't use the primitive data type but non-primitive data type and then the variable. And then it enters this method 1 and then display the message here. Once it's done, go back to the caller, which is method 2, and then display the message here. So here is the result. Let's see the fifth this. The fifth this is to pass an argument in the constructor call. Here is the fifth this. This is passed as an argument in the constructor call. So this is similar to the fourth this but in the form of constructor. So here we have two classes. The first class is class 1 and then the second one is class 2. In the first class here, I have a variable that I initialize with 100 and I want to pass this value to class 2. So at first here, I have to create the object for my class here. How to create the object? As usual, I use the class name and then the object name and then new keyword and then the class method or the constructor here. So as soon as we run this, it will call the constructor. Under constructor, we create the object for class 2. As we create the object for class 2, we pass the argument, which is passing this value to class 2. Now let's see the class 2. In the class 2 here, we don't have the main method here because our main program is this. In the class 2 here, I have a constructor method that receive one argument. Pay attention, the data type here is non-primitive data type and then receive an argument this from class 1. And then we assign the OBJ value here to the OBJ we have in the class 2 and then display the result. Now let's run the program. So the logic when we run it is like this. We create the object. As we create the object, then we call the constructor here. Inside the constructor, it will create the object for class 2 and then pass 100 to class 2. Go here and then 100 assign to OBJ here and then display it. Here is the result. And the last this is to return current class instance. The program here has a class named this6. And this class has two methods, which is get display with return type of the class. So it's not a primitive data type here. And then to return the current class instance, it use return keyword and then this. And then we have another method that only display I'm learning Java this keyword. And to be able to run this, we need to create an object. This time when we create the object, at the same time we will call the method that has return type of the class. And at at the same time, we also call the display here. So here is the instruction. So when I run this, the result will look like this. So here is the logic. So when we run this program, it will create the object for this 6 class, and at the same time, it will call the method that has written type of the class itself. Then after that, it will call the display method. If you learned something from this video, please subscribe and like for more videos. Thanks for watching.